Oh, hold up.
Yo,
My bad. My bad. There we go.
you all good?
What's good
Hear
with
me
you?
clearly?
Yeah, you can hear me though?
Yeah, I got you clear. I got you
Cool.
clear. Appreciate
Cool.
you checking in with me here at the Living Room Podcast.
Yes, sir.
All right, I got everybody here. I got Grammy nominated artist J.Holiday checking in with me, man. I appreciate everything, brother.
Oh, nah, I appreciate you, man. Just want to talk to the people that want to talk to me. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, man. Hey, look, we appreciate your contribution to music, man. I still got you on the playlist right now. Like
Ah,
you
much
still in my
appreciated.
R&B playlist right now, brother.
Cool. That's what I need. You know what I'm saying? Just true support, man. Some people, they support you, and then it's like, well, what happened to Jay Holiday? Like, I'm still making music, man. You know what I mean?
Well, for us as the consumers, man, it comes across like that because R&B is not marketed the way it used to be now.
Right.
It seems like now if we want to hear other artists that has longevity in R&B, if it's not them being pushed into the into the to our faces like the younger
Yeah.
artists,
Yeah.
that we probably will come across the music on satellite radio, or if
Right.
we
Right.
scroll on YouTube, unless we're following them directly, we know where to get the music, or they drop albums. Like
Right.
I interviewed Avant and Vivian Green and stuff, and people didn't even know that they still were making music. And I'm just
Right.
like, it's interesting because they're trending on these platforms such as iTunes and Apple Music and R&B, but it's like, how
Right.
are they number one on this? And people that I know
Don't
say they
even
never heard
know.
of it. So it's
Right.
they still have a cult following. You guys still have that following, but as far as how it's marketed, it's weird, man, how it goes with that now.
I mean,
Um,
it's just the signs of the change, man. It's the times now. You know what I'm saying? Like it just, I mean, you gotta take it how it come, bro. You know what I mean? Like people fail to accept change. You know what I'm saying? And like I was one of those people. Like, nah, man, I want to put the album out. I want to go do the in-store signings and all that. And it's just like that's just not, especially with the quarantine. But like that's just not how they doing it now. And I mean, you just gotta stay focused, man, and believe in yourself, man. Because I know some people's just like, man, forget music, I'm good. You know
yeah,
what I mean? But
yeah.
I can't do that.
All right, let's get into it, man, because I wanna start from the beginning, and we get into what you got going currently and everything, and
For
some
sure.
current stuff as well as recent. One question I do want to ask you, man, is like, while doing my research and following you and everything, I'm aware that you grew up in from humble beginnings in D.C. and your mom, she was a pastor.
She preacher.
She's a preacher.
Yeah, she never ran her own church, but she had a ministry with her with my aunts and stuff. My mom is one of 11, so yeah, once we all kind of like left the church, she never stopped preaching. She never stopped going to like speaking engagements and stuff like that. But she never made it to the pastor thing. But yeah, that's how I grew up though, for sure.
Preacher. And like, so how was that growing up? Your mom's a preacher, is you, your siblings, and your beginnings with music, and how you got into that. How did that come into fruition?
Man, what's really dope about that is, I mean, my mom was beating us over the head with the Bible, man. You know what I mean? Like we was in church 3 times a week. You know what I mean? And for a young teenager, you know what I'm saying, it's kind of it's kind of hard, you know what I'm saying, because my dad died when I was 11. So um it's just kind of like, what else you gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, mama said, go to church, you gotta go to church, you know what I mean? And I never wanted to sing in church, so I was listening to all the music I shouldn't have been listening to, sneaking and listening to it or whatever. And what's crazy about how I actually wanted to start pursuing music was like a few years after my dad died, my mom wanted to move closer to the church that we were going to, because like we was taking like a 45-minute drive to church every Sunday, and so she wanted to become more involved in the church and in that specific church. So we moved to a specific part of town. And yeah, man, that's when I went to the high school that I went to. And that's when I caught the bug, man. You know what I mean? So it was a gift and a curse. You know what I mean? Like when I say gift and a curse, it's just like, as an adolescent teen male, you know what I mean? All I have is my mom, and all she want to do is talk about church. Like, so I couldn't talk to her about a lot of different things because I already knew what answer she was gonna give me. It was gonna be the church answer. And it's like sometimes that's not the answer I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear it straight. You know what I mean? And so that was a little weird, So that's how I kind of like start hanging out in the streets and stuff, and
And
hanging out
yet
with my friends.
you got older sisters that sing as well, right?
Yeah, I'm one of three. My middle sister, she can sing. She just never pursued it. But my older sister, she used to sing backup for Crystal Waters, and she sung in like a couple go-go bands. For people that don't know what go-go is, that's just like a music that we have in DC. Yeah, so I just kind of wanted to. I don't know. I kind of wanted to be like her, man. She once I actually caught the bug, I was like, oh. And then I was like, I'm gonna be better than you.
Right, right.
Like, you gotta talk to sibling trash, you know what I mean?
Dig it, dig it. And the cool thing that I caught from it all is like coming from that, and you got your thing started off with doing music early, which is dope.
Right.
But you also mentioned in the interview that if your father had still been alive, we wouldn't have seen and known the J.Holiday that's presented to us today. What did you
For
mean
sure.
by that when you said that?
My life probably just would have taken a different path. You know what I'm saying? My dad died. Then we kind of moved around a lot when I was younger, when he was still alive, but not so much. You know what I'm saying? Like he took us from the hood to the suburbs. He was like, I want to get a house for my family and all of that, or whatever. And then it was like once he died, I don't want to say it was downhill, but in that moment, it was just like, oh, we just left this 5-bedroom house with the pool in the backyard to now we in a townhouse. And then now my mom want to be closer to the church. So now we in an apartment and back in the projects. So all of those moves ended up making who I am now. I wouldn't have become this person had we just stayed in the suburbs. You know what I mean? So
So
it's just like, how they always say everything happens for a reason. It's like I didn't know what that reason was. I mean, I give anything to have another day with my pops, you know what I mean? But that's for me to do what I'm doing now. Apparently that's just what had to happen. You know what I mean?
definitely understand that. And you had a group going in the beginning. Is
Yeah,
that correct?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
what
295.
what happened with the from you forming that group and then going into the direction of wanting to go official with y'all music? Like what caused that from happening from there to you then becoming a solo artist of J.Holiday?
Man, so we all met in school, you know what I mean? Like I sung a lot of chorus, you know what I mean? Like I wasn't an athlete, you know what I mean? I was in the choir in school, you know what I mean? So it was just we would go to like district chorus competitions, and then you with people in other schools and stuff like that. So that's how I met a couple of my group members. And we just realized that we all had the same want of being famous and having a group. We wanted to be like the Jodeci's and the Drew Hills and the Jagged Edges and the 112s and stuff like that. And so we pursued it, and then we moved to Atlanta. um and we basically sat in front of everybody that could have signed us, and we came to the table too late. At the time that we came to the table, they weren't signing groups anymore. They was just like, the groups is a thing of the past. And so every time we went to a meeting, they was like, we don't want the group, but what's up with the lead singer talking about me? And I was just like, I'm not leaving my group. I'm like, we gonna get signed. Like that was my mentality. We gonna get signed. And then the options started dwindling out, and the meetings weren't as consistent. And then it was just like, well, look, um I'm gonna have to figure something else out. You know what I'm saying? Like when we moved to Atlanta, I had two jobs. I had a full-time job, part-time job, two cars, crib, and essentially lost all of that moving to Atlanta to pursue a dream. So I'm going from making, at the time I was 20, I'm making like $40,000 a year to being broke trying to be an artist. You know
Right,
what I
right.
mean? I said, I'm not going home. You know what I'm saying? I said, and if you guys don't have the passion that I have, then I'm gonna just have to, I just got to kind of try to do my own thing. And when I say have the passion that I have, whenever we went to the studio, I was in the booth 90% of the time. I was on 80% of all the songs. You know what I'm saying? Like I was the lead singer, I was the face of the group, and it was just like I didn't want to start over. It was basically we were going to have to do a new demo, and I was like, dude, I'm doing 80% of all the work, I'm doing 90% of all the work. I might as well just, if we can't get another meeting, I don't know what else to tell y'all. Like we tried it. I stayed with y'all every time they asked me to lead a group. I didn't leave, and then the meeting stopped, and I said, yeah, I gotta go solo, man. I said I
And
gotta
that
go solo.
and that led you into, signing with Show Enough with Jazzy Faye, right?
Yep, yep. As soon as I left the group, signed with Jazzy, and the only reason why that didn't pan out was because I was always the contract dude. Like I was the dude in the group. We're not gonna get stuck in nothing. Period. I'm gonna make sure we always got it out because that's how a lot of careers get killed, signing the wrong contract. You know what I mean? So when I got with Jazzy, I was just like, y'all got 6 months. I already did a year with the group. Y'all got 6 months. And then as soon as I signed with Jazzy, goodies came out for Sierra, and they was too busy for me. So the 6 months passed, and then I was like, yo, I need to get out the contract and try to go find somebody else that actually has the time and attention to put into my career.
So like looking back hindsight, because yeah, when Sierra dropped the record, she just took off from there.
She took off, boy.
Yeah, she took off from there, man. It was to the races, man. So when that happened, and you're thinking, okay, your frame of mind may have been, Jazzy is focused on Sierra. It's not
Yeah,
my time right now for that.
exactly.
Do you ever look back hindsight and think, what if I would have stayed on that? What could have happened with working with Jazzy?
Not necessarily. It goes back to everything happens for a reason. If I stayed with Jazzy, I wouldn't have got bed, wouldn't have got suffocate, wouldn't have, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like those records you would have never heard those records from me. You would have heard something, but it wouldn't have been those records. So it's just like it happened. I feel like it happened how it was supposed to, and that's not to take anything away from Sierra. I was proud of her because we kind of came into the game at the same time. She was already in, and I was right behind her, but I was like, it's good to see her actually finally popping because I think at the time when she popped, she was like maybe 18, 17, 18, but she had been working on it since she was like 13, 14, 15. You know what I mean? So it was like
Yeah.
it was her time. It was her time, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, it seemed like you made the best career decision for you to take off from there. I mean,
It was
a lot
scary.
of yeah, it's scary because a
Don't
lot of
get
people
it
would
was
have sat
scary.
and then wondered if, hey, am I up next? I'm ready to be up next. But you was like, hey, you give me
Exactly.
all this amount of time. Okay, let me go somewhere else where they're gonna put time into me and efforts into me. So I get that. So it led you to your next deal. That was it with Capital?
Yeah, Capitol Records. Yep.
With
Yep.
Capital, and then the beginnings of Back of My Lack. Walk me
Yeah.
through the starting of putting this project together and how Bad even came about.
I got you. All right. So at the time I'm signed to Capitol and we put out Be With Me. And we already knew Be With Me was gonna be on the album. So we was like, let's give him this song right here while we finishing the album. And basically, so Be With Me came out and it was like an introduction record. You know what I mean? Nobody knew who I was, and it was just kind of like, oh man, it's a cool song. All right. Dude's a little hood. I started with the whole hoodies and all of that as an R&B singer. Like, I want to do something different. I don't want to bow ties and all that. I was like,
Yeah,
give me a hoodie. You know what
right.
I'm saying? So we did that. And then we finished up the album. But what happened with the whole name of Back of My Lack was I so before Be With Me, uh I was going through the process of putting my demo together. And it was just taking too long. I had been away from home. I was getting homesick. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, man, I got girls and stuff back home. I'm trying to get back with it.
Hmm.
I'm like, man, I ain't got no car. I ain't got no job. I want to just go home for a second. So I went home. I said, yo, I'm gonna go to DC. I'll be back. You know what I mean? And I went to DC, and my manager, Corey Green, his cousin, Quincy Lowe, was a producer. So, my manager was like, just make sure you get into the studio with Quincy while you're at home. You know what I'm saying? That way you could just stay working. I was like, all right, cool. That's a bet. I can get into the studio. I can go home and still record. Cool. So I went home, and then it was like maybe 3 weeks before I even called him. Like, I was just like, I was at home enjoying myself, going out, reconnecting with friends and girls and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And then I finally got in the studio, and I was just like, I don't know if I'm gonna go back to Atlanta. Like, I don't know. I don't even know if that's what I want to do no more. You know what I'm saying? And I went into the studio and I said, yo, just play me some Marvin, play me some Marvin type stuff. And he played the back of my lack track. And I sat there and I listened to it for like an hour, just writing in my head. And I said, all right, start the joint. I'm about to get in the booth. Recorded that joint. And the joint came out so dope, the back of my lack song. And everything that I was feeling at that time, I put on that record. Like, I just want some weed and I just want some cognac. And I don't know if I want to do this music no more. You know what I'm saying? Because they calling me, when you coming back, when you coming back. Da, da, da. I'm like, I click, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
And the song came out dope. So I sent it to my manager because he's from DC too. So I sent it to my manager. He was still in Atlanta. I said, yo, I just did this. He said, boy, if you don't get the, because I drove up to DC. He said, man, if you don't get in the car and get back to Atlanta as soon as you can, he said, bro, this is gonna get us the deal. He said, this is gonna get us the deal. And so it was that song. I had a feature, like I had a feature on my demo with A-Ball and MJG called City Boy. I still want to put this song out. I don't know why Capital didn't want to put it on the album,
Mm.
but I guess for them it was too hood at the time. It was like, nah, we just want you to be R&B. Da, 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 da. I was just like, but this is A-Ball and MJG. Like, what are you talking about? You know what
Right,
I'm
legends. Yeah,
saying? Like, this is it's a song called City Boy. They talk about Tennessee and I'm talking about DC. Like, what are you talking
yeah.
about? This is a brilliant record. And so that was on the demo. Then I put Fatal. Fatal was the only song that I kept from my group because I wanted them to know, like, I'm gonna still let the world hear y'all, even though it's gonna be the only song on the demo. I'm gonna still let the world hear y'all. And so it was that, Ghetto, Back of My Lack, and City Boy, which, you know, Back of My Lack, Ghetto, and Fatal made the album. You know, and yeah, man, that's just how it happened. And then it was like, got signed, put out Be With Me, and finally we was like, yo, we need what they was telling me, they was just like, all right, Be With Me's not hitting how we wanted to hit. So we just need that record that's gonna make everybody pay attention. You know what I'm saying? And so at this point, I'm already in like the fourth system of Capital. Capital was just crazy, like people getting fired and hired. And so I'm in like the fourth system. So Ronnie Johnson, rest his soul, rest in peace. He came in to Capital. I think he came from Atlantic Records to Capital. And he was just like, what are y'all doing? Like, why isn't J.Holiday on every TV right now? Why isn't he on every radio station right now? Like, what are y'all doing? All right, I'm gonna figure this out. So by this time, I'm back in Atlanta working on the album, and he flew to Atlanta and came to Red Zone, which is a Tricky Stewart studio, and Dream. That's where Dream liked to record and write his songs. You know, so he was just coming through one night, and Ronnie Johnson just happened to be in town. So they was like, "Oh, Dream is here. I know Dream got something for him." So they ran up on him. Hey, Dream, play us something for Jay. We need something for Jay. We ready to cut the check tonight. You play us a hit, we cut the check tonight. So he played bed, you know. And I think maybe earlier that day he sent it to Chris or whatever, and they heard it and was like, "This is the record." Stroke
And
the check,
so I want to
and it
stop
was
you right there, though. I want to stop you right there because I want to rewind because back in my lack, it was like when I listen to it now, when I listen to it then, it still give me the same feel. It's like a gritty feeling, but it's still R&B. Like it's still the vocals is coming through, but you giving us that grittiness that like you just don't get out of R&B no more. You know what I'm saying?
right, right,
There's only certain amount of R&B artists that just kind of gave that, and you could feel it within the music. You could relate to what they're talking about, or at least close your eyes and envision what they're saying.
right,
So we're going from back of my lack to now going to bed. You
right.
obviously see the contrast in
The
records,
contrast,
but
yeah.
it doesn't take away from us flipping like, oh, we thought you was this type of artist or this type of artist. It kind of lines it up like this guy's coming with something.
Yeah.
So with working with Dream and him writing a record and putting together for you, you guys had like a relationship of working in the past before that record. Am I right?
Yeah. He did some stuff for the group. The stuff for the group didn't really pan out. It wasn't that it was bad. It's just, I mean, the group broke up, so we didn't use none of those records. Um, and then I went in one day with him because I'm like, I'm broke. I'm like, bro, I need to get some money. So my
Right.
manager was like, all right, I'm gonna get you some money. I'll figure it out. So he, you know, made a couple calls or whatever. And Dream was like, I need him to come in and reference this record for me, which was Suffocate. And that was at the time meant for Omarion, which I didn't even realize it later on. Omarion would end up becoming one of my cool friends, you know what I'm saying? But so I recorded it, but my manager said, yo, when you get in the booth, make sure they can't sell the record. He said, man, you better sing your ass off. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
And so I the reference that y'all hear, I mean, well, the song Suffocate that you guys hear is the actual reference that I did. I didn't go in and change
See,
anything on
that's the dope part about that though,
it.
because like a lot of people that like are not involved in music or know it, the process of what it is behind the scenes, don't understand what it takes to put a reference record together for somebody. And
Right.
now these days you'll have rappers reference stuff that'll come out and they'll start questioning who's writing what or whatever. But for that to have been the actual reference joint that we hear today is
Yeah.
amazing.
I
As an
never changed. I
artist, that's
never changed
amazing.
anything on
Right.
it.
And that was supposed to be meant for Omarion. And around that time, he's like solo career is like there. And
Yeah.
for you to come through and take over that record
And that's not to take anything away from Marion. That's like
nah, he's talented artist.
always my guy. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? But
O's dope.
I just knew there were certain things that I did vocally that I was like, I gotta kill it. I gotta.
But
He ain't gonna want the record.
yeah, so what I'm
He ain't
saying
gonna want the
is
record.
for you to do a reference joint that dope that it made it be like, okay, this could have been for Marion, but you come in there and kill it, it speaks volumes. That's the point I'm
For
trying to get
sure.
across. Like
For
that
sure.
speaks volumes that you were able to do that. And then there was confusion around the record bed with the writing of it, whatever was like with confusion about it being originally for what Chris Brown wanted the record or something.
It wasn't even that he wanted it. You know what I'm saying? Like when it comes to artists, people submit records to you.
Mm,
Like I think Chris would sound dope on this.
they shop
So
them
like
around, yeah.
so like I said earlier that day, or maybe the night before, Dream sent it to Chris. So I don't even know if Chris had a chance to hear it by the time I recorded it. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying? Because when he came to the studio that night, I wasn't even there. They was just having a meeting about like how we gonna get him popping. We need a record for him, like now. Dream came into the studio, played bed. They called me on the phone and said, "Get your ass to the studio. You got a song to record." So I came down to the studio and I heard it. They was like, "You like it?" I was like, I mean, because like he did his reference for bed and falsetto. You know what I'm saying?
mm,
Like the whole entire record was in like falsetto.
mm.
I was just like, I mean, it's cool, you know what I mean? So I tried for like an hour to record it how he did it. And I was just like, I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? I was just like, and the engineer, I think Scott was engineering me, and he was just like, well, what's wrong? What don't you like about it? I said, I wouldn't sing it like this. He said, well, how would you sing it? I said, running from the top.
Mm.
Running from the top.
And so,
And that's how that happened.
and that's dope because I even hear the contrast, where it came out later on that they played his version at the
At the
Yeezy
Yeezy joint,
fashion
yeah.
show. You hear that record and then you hear yours, so you see clearly what the difference is between you flipping it your way and how he had the record to be. Um, the dope thing about it all, those two records, from the demo with Back of My Lack, and then you listen to Bed and Suffocate. Those records are nowhere near the same.
Right,
So then you can't get put in a box. The
right.
album is successful. You go to be Grammy nominated, right?
Yeah.
That process and building that record and putting these out, and now you doing your thing. Tell me about how it went Grammy night. Just being excited to be able to be in the presence of other artists nominated for such award that carries that weight as an artist.
Well, man, I signed up for the Recording Academy at like age 19. So
Mm,
before I even moved to Atlanta, I was already a member of the Recording Academy. Because if you want to be an artist, that was just like part of the protocol. Like you got to be a part of the Recording Academy. For a lot of people, they're like, "What's the Recording Academy?" The Recording Academy is the Grammys. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? So I said I got to be a part of the Grammy Association. Period. And so to actually when I heard I got nominated, I was like, for real, like I'm one of few R&B artists, male, that ever got nominated for a Grammy on my first album. Like every, most male R&B artists have been nominated at some point for a Grammy, but 9 times out of 10, it was never on their first album. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, who am I up against? And it ended up being me, Neo, Dream, and Mary J. Blige, because Dream had just dropped the album.
Yep.
So I was like, I gotta be Dream. Like at this point, I'm just like, hey man, and it wasn't because of like no beef or nothing. It was just like
Mhm.
competition. Like, yo,
Right.
this would be dope. You know what I'm saying? But just to be nominated, man, it was dope, man. Just being amongst greats. You know what I'm saying? And of course, I ended up losing to Mary J. Blige, but it's like I rathered it that way. And Neo's cool too. That's my people's. But it was just like I can't lose to Neo and Dream. The only person I would accept the loss to is Mary J. Blige.
Yeah,
You know what
and
I'm
that's a hell
saying?
of a category because when you think about all those albums at that time,
Right.
everybody was on radio, everybody was fire at that time. So, hey, losing to Mary J, I mean, that's one
Yeah.
you take. Like, that's
Yeah.
Mary.
I
She's
took that.
legend.
Yeah. I took that on the chin, man. It was all good.
Yeah, nobody likes to lose, but if you gonna lose to Mary,
Yeah. To
that's
Mary, that's
not
cool.
bad, brother.
That wasn't bad.
And the record was the album came out being dope. Uh, Nominated for the Grammy. You also had the opportunity to tour with R. Kelly.
Yeah.
How was that experience? Because
It
you're the
was
second
cool.
artist that I've interviewed that either had an experience where they worked with R. Kelly or they toured with R. Kelly. How was your experience with
I mean, it was cool. You know what I'm saying? Like I made him respect me. You know, R. Kelly he has a bit of an ego, you know what I'm saying?
him?
And as he should, you know what I mean? Like if you look at all the things that he's done and all the songs that he's written and who he's written for, it's like it's kind of hard not to have an ego when you've accomplished that much. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? But we wasn't having it. Like I was like, I'm on a tour for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So the rules and regulations that you setting up for everybody else, we're not following none of those rules. You know, and so for me, it wasn't bad. It was I don't have a bad experience story with him. You know what I'm saying? I just kind of kept my distance. And it was one thing I will say is like, so so he didn't let like nobody in his cast and his dancers and all of that. Like he didn't want them associating with nobody else in the tour. So they would
mm,
sneak off. And you know, like, cause my band was fly. Like my band was fly. So they'd sneak off, like, yo, we about to go hang out with J Band and whatever.
mm,
And yeah, man, he wanted to keep them out the way and not seen. You know what I'm saying? But the way we carried ourselves was like they're dope on stage, they're always on time, they ain't starting no trouble. And so everybody that was working for him was just like, y'all got to pass. Like my whole team got to pass. They was just like, y'all good, y'all good. So the only interaction I had with him was, you know what I'm saying? Like we went to a couple after parties. Um, I think we crossed paths in the elevator. He was coming in the building and they was like, R. Kelly don't like nobody in the hallway. We was like, okay, but we ain't nobodies. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell y'all.
right, right.
Like, so we on the elevator and he was just like, you know, it was just like he was on some like, oh, this boy don't care.
Mm,
Like, dude, you are Kelly. I ain't about to hound you or nothing. I'm not about to be like, yo, Kels, da. Like, all right,
yeah,
bro.
yeah.
I'm on the tour too. Like,
Word, word. And
yeah, it
so,
was cool though.
like, who all was on that tour with you? And it was R. Kelly, you, and like who else?
Originally it was me, Neo, Keisha Cole, and R. Kelly. And so
Yeah,
I
because
don't
Keisha was
know
taking up for that time too.
exactly
Yeah.
what happened with Neo, but
Mm,
Neo did, I think, maybe 2 shows with us. And then next thing we know, we got to the next city and they was like, Neo's not on the tour no more. So I don't know.
sheesh.
Yeah, but I think it was one of them ego moments because Neo was on stage killing it. He up there dancing and
Hmm.
uh.
That's when he was
I,
active on stage for real. Yeah,
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 he out there with the suits and wow, and I think he was killing it so hard that Kells was like, yeah, nah, you got to go, brother.
sheesh.
But
That's wild.
don't quote me on that. I really
Mhm.
don't know what happened. You know, for all I know, Neo just was like, I don't want to be on the tour. I don't know what happened, but yeah, so it just ended up being me, Keisha Cole, and R. Kelly.
Cool, cool. And one of the dope records that I did like you on, it wasn't even on your album, nothing like that. It was a feature you did with Fat Joe. Like,
Yeah.
and I remember when I was in high school, me and my homies used to spit. We used to cop the instrumental with your hook on it and
Hmm.
make our own record to that joint. So it was like just the hook
That's
alone
that's
set
dope.
off the mode of how that record went. It was like on some grown and sexy, but it was still
And
like it was
let
Joe,
me
you know.
let me tell you something about that story though. I mean, about that song. So Mario Winans wrote the hook, right? And I don't know if they just didn't want him on the song, or it was because me and Joe was on the same label at the time. He was with E1, so he wasn't necessarily with Capital, but E1 was going through Capital at the time. And so they was like, "Yo, you want to do a song with Fat Joe?" I'm like, "Hell yeah!" Like, why would I want to do a song with Fat Joe? So they sent me the song, and another one of them times, my manager was like, "Bro, you better sing this song. You know that's Mario Winans, right? Like, you better sing the song." So I sung it, but it was to a whole different song. Like, it was same track. Joe had like two other verses on that song. So once he got it back, he said, "Oh nah, I'm not about to let this young boy kill me on the song." So he wrote two new verses. Like,
That
so the
joint's
verses that's
hard,
on
man.
the verses that's on the song now
Mm.
weren't the verses that were there when I recorded the hook.
And that had to be
I still
dope working
I
with
still
Joe.
had the original. I said, "Joe, I'm gonna leak this." He said, "Man, you better not."
Hey, that gotta be dope working with Fat Joe though, because like Joe, when he drops, it's like he tries to
You,
drop
you seen
hits.
the new joint he just dropped?
Yeah, yeah.
When he on the
So it's
boat,
like,
I was like, "He back."
yeah, when Joe
Yeah.
drop hits, it's like Joe will disappear, do his thing, and then when he drops, he makes sure he's trying to drop a banger. Like,
And what's funny, he's super. He's not acting. People like, "Yo, Joe's a good dude," and it's
mm,
just for the cameras. He's genuinely like that. That's really just who he is, man. He's
man,
so
that's
cool.
dope, man.
Treated me with so much love. We shot the video in Miami. It was just so much love, bro. Yep.
Man, that's hard. That's hard. That's dope stuff, man. Getting into the next album, man. Tell me that process and what took place with why that rollout of that album wasn't like your first debut album.
Because the label hate. Well, I ain't gonna say the label hated me, but so mind you, remember by the time. No, so I said it was my fourth system. By the time we got Bed, when Ronnie Johnson came and did and made things move for Bed, I think it was my third system. Like, so at this point, I've already been through three presidents of the label. They brought him in because they was just like, "Yo, I don't know what's going on with the presidents that's upstairs. We need you over here, Ronnie, for R&B Music." You know what I'm saying? And so then Ronnie Johnson passed away, right? And so had he not died, then the rollout would have been the same. So it's like when he died, I feel like everybody was grasping at straws, just trying to be the next one up. You know what I'm saying? And so they came in really, really demanding. And I'm like, "Yo, I've been at the label longer than you've been working here. Did you see how we did the first album? Like, let us handle this. You know what I'm saying? Like, just let us handle this. You know what
Right,
I'm
right.
saying?" And so I recorded the entire album other than the song Fly and the song Wrong Lover. Those are the only two songs I didn't record at home. I recorded the rest of the album at my house. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I don't want to be around nobody. I can record it. I can engineer my own thing. And then I also found all the records. I A&R'd my whole second album. I was like, I'm not even dealing with the label because the label don't know. They don't even know what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? And they started asking me to do just weird stuff. Like, it was one thing that they was trying to like Tatiana Ali. You know who Tatiana Ali is,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
She was like, I think she was turning like 30 or something, and they were about to do this whole thing on the entertainment TV or whatever. And it was just like, that was like, she's gonna go on 4 dates with 4 different celebrities and 4 different things. Like, she's gonna go like baseball player, da 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 da. And it was like, and they want you to do the show, right? So they was like, "Well, what kind of date would you take her on?" And I was just like, "I'd take her to a nice little cool little restaurant." You know what I'm saying? It was a restaurant in LA that I love called Crustaceans. And so what
Mm.
they would do is they would have a live piano player in there performing. So I said, "Yo, it'll be dope. We take her." And we always got the front table right in front of the piano. So I was like, "Let's take her on a date." And then, you know what I'm saying? I just get up and I serenade her. I'm a singer. Why won't you let me serenade her? But they was
Right.
like, "Well, you like boxing. Why don't you just like take her on a date to a boxing gym and like let her knock you out?" I was like, "That's not even realistic, bro. Like, that's not even realistic." She put hands on me.
That's corny though. Like, so
You see
the
how corny
idea of
that
that sounds
sound, right?
corny. Yeah, that's TV.
So to to make a long story short, I ended up not being on the spot because I was just like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Like, I'm not even about to play them games about like I understood media and I understood social media. I was like, man, I'm not about to have people talking about Tatiana Ali knocked you out. I don't care how fine she is. Like,
Mhm.
get out of here with that. I'm not doing that. So I just ended up not doing it. So it was stuff like that they was just like, he don't want to do nothing. I'm just like, y'all don't know who I am. Y'all don't know who I am. Y'all not even trying to understand who I am. Y'all just think that y'all ideas are magic. And it's just like, we had the magic before you got here. Now you're breaking up, you putting a spell on what we got going on because we got the magic. You putting a spell on us, and so they just was just like, Jay don't want to do nothing. He think he know everything, and that's just what happened. They didn't want to push the album, so we put out It's Yours, shot the video, and they just hated that I had the know how. Like they didn't help us shoot the video. You know what I'm saying? I spent my own money to shoot the video. Um, then we had Fabulous. Fall was supposed to be the next single, and we had a remix with him on it. If you go to my Instagram, you could see because I was just like, you know what? Nobody's ever heard it. Let me see what they think. Everybody's like, yo, why didn't you drop this? I was like, because the label wouldn't let us. They was just like, nah, we're not gonna let him leave us. Like, I ain't leaving you. I'm still signed to the label. Just let me do my thing. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
so they didn't let us put out the single. That's why only It's Yours came out. Because after that, they was just like, oh, Jay's the problem. I'm like, how am I a problem when I'm the one artist you have that you don't have to help? I'm making it so your work is easy.
And
they
now
they
it's
didn't like
funny.
that.
And now it's funny because the music industry have shifted to where they want that now. They don't want to do the work. They want you to have the package deal. You
Right.
come in there and you do it all. All right.
And then now we'll get behind it. Like,
Yeah.
nah. And
So
they
that
and they hated it.
you was on it early and they
Yeah, I was
appreciated at that
super
point.
early.
And that seemed to have spoiled what you had going a little bit because everybody talked about the sophomore jinx. And
Yeah.
at this point, it wasn't the point of it being a sophomore jinx. It was just like label disagreement, basically. Like
Bad business. Yeah.
as far as the creativity and the process of going in with the records. Um, so let me not confuse it. So this album, or was it the first one? You had the opportunity to work with Dark Child,
That was the first album. That
the
was
first
Be
album,
With
because I
Me.
want to know how
That
did
was
that
Be With
process
Me.
happen?
Um, so I did a song called what's funny is that so Dark Child has two songs on my first album, which a lot of people don't know because unless you really delve deep into the credits and all of that stuff, you won't know. But so I had a song called Without You, which was the first song that I did with Adonis. Adonis is a writer, um, and he had the track. So I did the joint at the crib. I did the joint at Adonis's crib with him. We did Without You at the crib, and we wrote the song. And he was like, "Yeah, this Rodney Jerkins record." I was like, "What? Like Rodney Jerkins? Like just to be able to know that this is about to go on the album and it's a Rodney record. Let's get it." He sent it to Rodney, and Rodney said, "I need him to come to New Jersey because I want to do a song with him in the studio." He said, I have to get him in the studio to do a song. He did that like that. There's no telling what we're gonna do with this record. So with Be With Me, that was the hype behind Be With Me. They was like, Be With Me is gonna be dope. It's a Dark Child record, da, da, da. And it just didn't hit how everybody thought it was gonna hit. It hit later because people was like,
Mhm.
oh, Be With Me was a dope record. But it hit after people heard Bed. They was just so then they went back through the music and it was like, oh, that was his first song. I love this song. Like, no, you didn't. You didn't like the song at first. You
Because
love it now
man,
because
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 I
something came out of it. So working with him was dope. Super
yeah,
dope.
because Dark Child is one of those ones. If you in R&B, you want to work with Dark Child, man. It's like
Yes,
he's
sir.
behind
Yes, sir.
countless hits or whatever. In his process, or how he talks about it, where he works with the artist in the studio, is something that some artists never experience. Now they'll just get a beat or instrumental thrown to them in email and they go in
Yeah.
there and record it. But to go in there and create magic with them, that's dope that you had the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. He said, he
So
said, bring him to New Jersey. I was like, what? He want me to come to the studio. I
man,
was
he's
like,
dope, man.
bet. And he created it in front of my face. He did the whole track and everything in front of my face. And we
Dope,
just sat
dope
there and wrote it.
opportunity you
And
got with that.
yeah,
So
man.
like we fast forward, you part ways with Capital and go to Def Jam, signed by LA Reid, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So with
Um,
being on Def Jam, was this after Jay or was this pre Jay on Def Jam?
it's after
Um,
Jay. I think he
After
had
Jay,
just
because
left.
LA Reid. Okay, get my timeline mixed. So it's after Jay. You signed LA Reid, and then what happened with that situation?
Nothing. I mean, honestly, man, shouts out to LA Reid. He knew what I was about to deal with. He was like, he's leaving the label. I have a place for him. I could cut him a check. You know what I'm saying? And I could sign him to the label. But he was about to leave. So he hadn't told anybody yet. But I mean, we didn't know he was about to leave. He was just like, nah, you want to deal with Def Jam? I got you. I think he cut me like $100,000 check or something like that. And basically he left. And they had Rihanna, they had Neo, they had Dream, they had Kanye, they had, you know what I'm saying? So these are all people that are veterans of Def Jam
Yeah,
that
yeah.
were all dropping albums when I
And I
got
think
signed.
Jeezy was on there at the time too. Yeah,
So they was
yeah.
just like, all right, we didn't sign Jay because he left. So usually your responsibility is to make sure the artist that you sign pops or whatever. You know what I'm saying? He left, so everybody else was just like, I don't know why Jay is on the album, why the label. It was just kind of one of those things. I didn't sign him, you know what I mean? So I got shelved, you know what I mean? Which was understandable. Like I don't have no hard feelings towards Def Jam or nothing. Like that's just the name of the game. Like that's just how it works. You know what I mean? I wasn't nobody's specific artist. They had other things already going on. So in their mind, we'll get to them when we get to them. You know what I'm saying? And so I sat for like 2.5 years. I was just like, they're gonna put an album out. Because who
Mm,
don't want to put an album out on Def Jam? You know what I'm saying? So
right,
at least
right.
I could say I was signed to Def Jam. You know what I mean? Like some people don't even get that far. You know what I mean? So then
Facts.
I just started throwing out music online, right? And then Def Jam started blocking all the music. Like, so hold on, y'all ain't trying to do nothing with me, and I can't even just put out some free music. You know what I'm saying? And I was,
Mhm.
so then I was like, all right, I got something for him because I always know my contracts. Whenever the artist is ready to put out the album, the label has to be ready to get behind it and support it. That's in the contract. So I said, I got an album. It's ready. They was like, well, we didn't. All right, let me get my release. Let me get my release. Just go ahead and release me, bro. Because what y'all not gonna do is keep blocking my music. Like, just give me the release.
So
I,
was
I,
that next
I did
album?
I did the same thing with Capital.
So did you actually get the opportunity to officially put out an album on Def Jam?
Nah, that because they wasn't ready.
Right.
I forced their
So
hand.
so the next one was done independently, or you was done through a joint venture, right?
Yeah, Guilty Conscience. Yeah, dope
Okay.
album. I hate to talk about it. It was bad business. It is what it
Mm,
is. Um, I feel like that was just music and time wasted. You know what I mean? I put a lot of energy into that recording till 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. Session starting at 8 o'clock the previous night. Like I'm going hard. And then it's just like egos, man. There's so many egos in a business. And the number one thing that people that you're doing business with want you to stay as dumb as you possibly can so they can control you. And the point was is I just wasn't dumb. I just wasn't dumb. I know my business, and so start asking questions. People don't like to be asked questions. Just let me do what I'm doing. Like, nah, I need this answer. If you can't give me this answer, then we got a problem. Like,
right,
and then
right.
you don't want me to get on. We don't need to make it messy. At the end of the day, I am a man. At the end of the day, I'm from the hood. Let's not take it to that point. Like, just give me the answer that I'm asking you. You know what I'm saying? And then when somebody can't give you an answer, then it's some shady business going on. You know what I mean?
Got it.
So I love the album, but whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah, it wasn't like,
No,
how
it's
you wanted.
dope
But it
album.
wasn't
It
like the
just
process of it wasn't like the rollout how you wanted to.
man,
You know,
it
vision.
was stupid, bro. It was dumb. It was dumb, bro. Uh,
So we get into it, and you come off that and everything, and then you start popping up in the news, man. You start popping up on the blog sites because
for sure.
now you did the video and you talking about basically voicing how you feel about some particular artists and how they extend their music or the process of them putting it out. As far as like you name Cardi, SZA, and Beyonce,
Right.
and them using their pain to sell records, whatever. Everybody know the whole spill about that and the backlash from
Right.
that. What led you into even having that mindset to be able to put out, to put out that message out there? Because it wasn't received well because it seemed like it came out of a point of anger or whatever.
It was.
What did you
It was.
mean by those comments?
I was angry. So this is when everybody was like, he gonna go at Mary J. And I was just like, bro, I'm not going at Mary J. But this is the thing. She beat me in the Grammys because she fell in love with her husband with that song. Like, I can't be without you, babe. She beat me because of that song. And now we're here at the Grammys again. And now you talking trash about them. And because people like trash, I was about to say trash music, but like trash talking music. And it's just felt like the reason why, like, our music is very powerful. You know what I'm saying? Like, what we say in our songs is powerful. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I don't like hate music. I feel like sometimes it's hate music. You know what I mean? Like, okay, he broke your heart, but you ain't got to drag him though. You know what I'm saying? Because that doesn't do anything but you're selling records to millions of people. So now millions of other people are going to have that same mindset. So that's the place that I was coming from. It wasn't coming from, oh, I hate the artist or I hate their music. It was just, if a man does it, oh, he's being disrespectful to a woman. But if a woman does it, it's, oh, what did he do? Like, this is how we treating our black men. You know what I mean? Like,
And see the
like
process about it, because I remember the clip vividly and everything, and then play devil's advocate. Like I understand what you're saying, and then I also see it from the other end as well, because we all know what music you are of the industry, you've been in the industry, you know how it goes with marketing tactics, all of that.
for sure.
But on the back end and playing devil's advocate in the it seemed a little bit contradictory because we want the pain to be in the music. We want people to feel what we felt at the moment. That's as far as being an artist. So when you did come out and say that, it was like, well, isn't that what we want out of artists, is to be able to express how we were at the moment, express these feelings, whatever, and put it on wax for it convey to people who may feel the same way or something like that. Because with these female artists doing this is a way of them expressing their art.
For sure.
Now, it could be said that males have had the same opportunity to do with their music, hence why so many things is being put into the forefront of now how males depicted women not only in their videos but their music back then, and now
For
it's
sure.
criticized now.
Right.
So what may have been reality for a male artist then, we could flip it and say this is their reality as well.
For sure.
So it shouldn't be anything wrong how it's perceived. But I do get your point on
But
like
so
it
where I
seems
was
like
coming,
man bashing.
well, where I was coming from, I mean, it's like y'all male bashers, and I'm not allowed to have an opinion. I'm in the industry. I write
Right.
songs, so I can voice my opinion about your lyrics. I can voice my opinion about that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And it's like you can get the same concept across saying something different. That was my point. Like, you don't have to say it like that. You know what I mean? Because what happens is you in a relationship and a chick leaves that song on your voicemail. And he's like, she just said I was a piece of, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like,
So it's like
and
a double-edged sword though, a
it's
little bit,
double-edged
because like
sword.
it's a double-edged sword because I get it so well, and I know it was hard to articulate it, like for real, like how you wanted to get it off for people to understand, because not everybody's gonna agree with what you say, not everybody's gonna
Right.
understand what you say. So I get it from both. I get it from both ends. This is their reality and the music that they put out, and then us as males have our reality for how we express our art. But depending on how we do it, the other side may not like it. There's always going to be like that
For sure.
idea of the battle of the sexes. The only problem that is of today, and because it's still a growing thing today, is it seems like when women are expressing themselves in this way of music, and women are now taking the forefront in music in a certain way, it seems like it's a war against the women to knock out that type of music, when men had kind of been doing this stuff for a long time musically,
Right.
and you know they just had to deal with it. So I guess that's why it came across as oh, he's mad, he's hating or something like that, because it's looked at like males been dogging women all throughout the music industry, hip hop and all that, and having them in
For
the
sure.
videos pouring champagne on their ass and stuff like that. Why is it a problem when they now do it? And it seems like that war of whatever,
The thing that I had a problem with was, oh, he's attacking black women. My mom's a black woman, strong black woman. So I've learned the lessons that I've learned from a black woman.
right.
You understand what I'm saying? And it was just like our culture, especially our music culture, it can sometimes be taken as a joke. And it's like, well, they don't even like each other. Why should we like them? You understand what I'm saying? And I was just coming from the point of what happened to the happy music and you know what I'm saying? I mean, some of my favorite male artists had really sad songs, but they wasn't bashing nobody. You know what I'm
We've
saying?
had some that did though. And that's
I
what the
mean,
point was.
not singers. Name me one singer.
As
Exactly.
far as singers,
Exactly.
I
We ain't
mean,
talk
you
about
got Chris
we ain't
Brown
talk
say
about,
these hoes ain't loyal. I mean, he wasn't lying to some extent, but I mean, look,
but this is the thing. Are you a hoe? Then he ain't talking to you.
exactly.
If
So
you feel like
I
you a
get it.
hoe.
Like I get it from both ways. I mean, more so we could say in hip hop, it's been a
Oh,
lot of misogyny in
they've been
hip
out of
hop.
control. Yeah, they've been out of
Yeah, but
control.
as far as R&B, you're right. I can't think of too many R&B artists that was misogynistic in their lyrics, or but that's how art interprets itself. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
We could be.
and I'll say this again, man. I didn't mean for anybody to take it like that. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't trying to bash the artist. I was just basically trying to bring attention to how we can be perceived as a collective. You know what I'm saying? Like 1 minute is support your black man, and then the next minute is he ain't. You know what I mean? Like,
And I can see how one can get frustrated with it, because now it seems like the balance of music has shifted, where we get more of something, and it's not like, all right, we have this, we have this, we have this. There's a
right,
variety. So it does seem like they push it more to the forefront, and we forced to hear it. But at the end of the day, you know how technology is, whatever. We can go on to the
yeah,
next song. We don't have to listen to the shit.
exactly,
Like, for
yeah.
me, I used to complain about music that I hear, and then when I noticed, I'm like, my roommate in college told me this. He was like, you don't have to listen to it, bro. Listen
You
to what
don't.
you want to hear. You know
No,
what I'm
the
saying?
Beehive tore my ass up.
Oh,
They
I
was
know
in
they had. I
they
know they
was in
had
my
to.
DMs hard. Like,
Because
what?
and
You
not
the
not only them, but
ba-da-ba-da-da.
Cardi had a bass at that time too. So it was like, I was like, sheesh. Then you had Charlemagne give me the donkey of the day, and then that's
Charlamagne, you see me in the middle of the street. Let's do it. I man, I don't even
he
talk
gave
about him.
it because he gave it to you twice. He
He
gave it to
gave
you
it
for
to me
that
twice.
situation and
Stop
then the
thinking
situation
about
with
me
that.
so much, bro. Why you thinking about me so much? Leave me alone, man. He a fan. I think he's quietly a fan, and it is what it
Hey,
is.
man.
You know what I'm saying? Like, dude,
So,
I ain't never seen a man talk about another man so much. Like, that's
but when you get that, once you do that,
shouts out to
and
Charlamagne, man. Keep doing your thing, bro.
once you get to that point, and when now Charlemagne talks about it and makes Breakfast Club, now all the blogs pick up and run with it, and you just took it like a man. You had to take all that,
You know what's
all the
funny?
backlash with
All
a
right.
man.
So remember when they had the whole King of R&B
Mhm.
argument for like a whole month, right?
Right.
I started that. And I wasn't starting it to start that. It was just we all have our own kings of R&B. But I knew he wasn't the king of R&B. And that's what I was speaking on. You know what I'm
Well, a lot
saying?
of
Like
people felt that way because the internet went crazy after that. The internet went
everybody's
crazy after
like,
that.
and I'm like, I'm not trying to take credit for starting that conversation, but it's just like if we're gonna talk about kings of the business of R&B males, bro, you not even you like number 50 something on the list. Like it's a lot of people that come. So you better than D'Angelo, you better than Tank. And I'm just speaking on people that don't even consider themselves the king of R&B. But it's just like, so you're better than these people, D'Angelo, Tank, Maxwell. Like, are you crazy, bro? Like, bro, who gassing
So
you over there?
we all had opinions about it, and you know what? You know what? It was he had to go back. He had to go back and revise it and say he's the king of R&B of his time now.
Now, man, get out of
Now,
here.
so
Still not now.
he accomplished one thing though. He
Chris.
accomplished one thing. He got people to the point where they're still talking about it. where they're talking about him. So,
He
you
accomplished
know,
stealing people's songs.
hey, you said it,
I'm
brother.
playing. I'm gonna leave that boy alone, man. I'm gonna leave that
But
boy
the
alone.
thing is, like, you know, he started a conversation. He got people talking about him. So the job was already there. It was accomplished there, and then everybody had their opinion. You know, it was a lot of people got on and started doing their thing. Who would you say was who's your top 5 kings of R&B if you could name them?
Man, well, I named 3 of them that day. You know what I'm saying? I said
Yeah, you
Bobby
did.
Brown. People like, how's Bobby? Bobby Brown sold 20 million on his first album. That's more than anybody that's nobody sold 20 million. Chris ain't done it. R. Kelly ain't done it. But then it's R. Kelly, Chris Brown. You know what I'm saying? They was like, well, how you gonna leave out Usher? Because we have people like, I mean, and that's, I grew up listening to Usher. It's not to take anything away from him.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody has their list. And it's just like, how you mad at me because you're not on the list? Like, bro. So I would say them 3. Then I would say Marvin Gaye. That's my guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my biggest influence overall. And if I would just have to throw in another one, Maxwell. Like, come on. You didn't come before those 5 people, bro. Those 5 people, you think
Yeah,
what? You
solid list. And it's always gonna be subjective because me, I listen to a lot of '90s R&B. Like
for sure.
I like back when it was groups. So like my favorite group of all time is Drew
Jodeci.
Hill.
Oh, Drew Hill. But
Yeah, I
see,
love Drew
that's
Hill,
dope.
man.
That's dope.
So
Yeah.
my favorite
Shouts
group of
out to
all time
Cisco
is
and Nokia, man. Shouts
yeah,
out.
man. So I want to talk to them, man. Those are one person I want to talk to with Cisco for real. But like
Yeah.
um
I'd at the end of this, just shoot me your Instagram or tell me your Instagram, and I just try to connect y'all in the DM. You know what I'm
I
saying? That's
bet
the homie.
cool.
That's the homie. So I mean, I don't, he may or may not respond. You never know, but
That's
because
dope. That's
he
dope.
got his own podcast and everything now, so I don't know how he
Yeah, a
feel.
lot of people do with the quarantine stuff, man. Everybody
Yeah.
got their own platforms, and it's dope. Because Fat Joe's one, if you had the opportunity to look at Fat
No,
Joe's,
I have. I watched it. Yep.
man,
Yeah.
he has
And
some.
he's so cool, and he just be bringing stuff to light. And it's just, I think my biggest problem is, it's like let people have their opinions. I don't care about nobody's opinion of me because I know who I am.
Mhm.
So it's just like, you can feel how you want to feel about me. You know what I'm saying? Another thing my mother always told me: sticks and stones may break your bones, but words ain't gonna hurt me. They're
Word,
words. Like,
word.
you can feel how you want to feel. You don't have to like me. Like,
Facts.
everybody's not gonna like me, and so for me to expect everybody to like me, I'm already shooting myself in the foot. You know what I mean? Like, you just can't walk around as an artist or a celebrity and feel like you just, you don't like me. Well, then like, it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be
Because
like that.
even people have to notice, even because y'all artists, y'all also lovers of the music. So y'all just like consumers in a way. Y'all gonna have y'all opinion whether y'all like something or not. It just seems when an
For sure.
artist is critical of another artist, then it seems like
You
or have
hate.
an opinion on their music seem like they're hating. You know, so that's how it goes now. You know, even if you're not an artist and you have an opinion that goes against popular opinion, then they're saying you're hating. So
Yeah, these
you know,
cult followings, man, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I had social media when I was coming out, people would probably hate me right now. You know what I'm saying?
man,
But
if
that's
people
just,
go back and look at a lot of these celebrities or singers, artists, actors, whatever, social media, prior to them being famous, it'll be hell. When we seen where that has happened, where people had to go back and say, "Hey, I was different then."
yeah, real talk, real
You know?
talk. And I just, you know what I'm saying? I just want people to accept the fact that, and I hate to say this, but it's just like, yo, don't give me the light skin treatment, man. It's just like, light skin dudes ain't never supposed to say nothing. Like, you light skin. They gave you light skin, just don't say nothing, enjoy it. It's like, no, but I'm a man, bro. Like, like,
Hey
I
man,
should
and
be able to have an opinion, man.
the king of R&B thing is so subjective though. Nobody is right and nobody's wrong. It's about, like I said, you had your list, and I'm like, hey man, Drew Hill is one of my favorite. Then
I
you
got
know,
you.
I'm influenced by '90s. I couldn't even give you a top. I can give you a top 10, a top 5 MCs to me, but R&B, man, it's so much R&B, man.
Even with MCs, it's just like, people be thinking like I could do the same thing, like Jay, Pop, Biggie, Nas, and then I'm kind of like fifth, J. Cole. You know what I mean? Like, like,
Oh yeah, because I can give my 5 like,
but you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
Cole to me, like Kendrick and Cole, the only ones right now that's, to me, that's holding hip hop up to a standard. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to take away from none of the other artists. Like I think the Baby's dope, but is he on Pac, Biggie, Jay-Z level yet? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he dope. I think he'll get there, but that's just as time goes, you grow as an artist. You know what I'm saying? What he rapping about now, he might not rap about next year. You know what I mean? So it's just like I think he's on his way, but it's just like, dang, if I don't put the Baby on my top 5, it's like for real. Like,
Well,
dude, I'm not saying I don't like him.
well, I catch the same flag though, because I'm down here in the South. I'm in Jacksonville, Florida. And
Gotcha.
my favorite rapper of all time to me is Jay. I listen to Jay. I know all Jay's albums.
Yeah.
But I also got to live on the West Coast at one time until I was like 9 years old, moved here. So I grew up influenced by everything,
Gotcha.
So down here, if I say Jay's my number one artist, they're looking at me crazy. Like, nah, I gotta be Bootsy. It gotta be Bootsy. Like Bootsy over Jay any day. But I had to understand, like being here, if you grew up in Jacksonville, Duval County right here.
I'm about to say you in Duval. I was
Yeah.
just about to say that.
Bootsy to what Jacksonville is, applies to what Jacksonville, Florida is like they didn't, most likely they didn't probably grow up listening to Jay or Big. To them, what was their soundtrack going to school, whatever, in middle school, to high school, it was Bootsy, it was Plies or whatever. So I stopped being like, what? Because I listened to Bootsy, I listened to Plies back then too. But it was like,
shouts out to Plies, that's the homie.
yeah, so it couldn't be, I wouldn't say my top 10, but they did have a role in the soundtrack of me, middle school, high school, whatever. But Jay all time, when I listen to Jay's lyrics now, I still catch stuff from like the first album to then or whatever that still sits with me. And to be where he's at now and still being able to produce that greatness of music, that's amazing, man.
Like even with that top 5, right? You know how hard it is to not be like, dang, why didn't I put Andre 3000 in there? You know what I mean? Like the dopeness can go on forever. It's just like it's kind of hard to just start putting people in category, numbers, and you know what I mean. Like I think Jay is one of the best to ever do it. Pac was my favorite, so I didn't listen to Biggie. I started listening to Biggie after Jay came out. I wasn't even a Biggie fan. I got caught up in the mix. Like nah, I was on the East Coast in DC. Yeah. Man, West Side, West Coast. I was on my Tupac, West Coast, cuz.
The crazy thing about it though is like now that I got older now though, it's like I don't even put one of them above each other now. Like when I list my 5, of course you do that, but Big and Pac is like,
yeah,
you can put one above the other, however it goes.
I started listening to Big and I was like, now I get it.
Yeah,
I was just like, I get it. I'm older now, so I listen to it with different ears. I'm like, I get it.
Yeah, because like
said these Navajos trying to creep me in their teepee. Like, come on, bro.
It's like my top 5 I got Jay, Big, Pac, Nas, and then I gotta go throw Snoop in there just because his influence and his longevity.
You heard the new joint Nas just dropped with the video?
Yes. Yes. And then I've been listening to the stuff that Snoop got with Cube and Too Short and 40.
Yeah.
Dope.
And that's why I said that dopeness can go on forever. It's just kind of hard to put things in perspective like that. It's just, and I have, like you said, you like Drew Hill. Drew Hill, I grew up listening to them, and then now I could be like, yo, sis, what's up? Cisco, what up? Nokia, what's up? Hitting Nokia on the phone, whatever.
See, that's the dope stuff. That's the dope stuff about it all, man, because you came from humble beginnings.
They my friends now, you know what I'm saying?
you came up from humble beginnings. You got the chance to be in industry, and these people that you listen to and you admire in music are people that are your peers now, that are your friends now and everything. And I kind of feel like I'm not there yet, but I came from a part of wanting to be a part of music, me spitting, and then me being like, hey, man, I want to do something different. I started DJing. I started doing this. And so the people that I thought I would never have a chance or talk to or whatever, I'm face to face sitting with them on here, speaking with them. You know what I'm saying? So
on that, man, you gotta keep pushing. You know what I mean?
No problem, man. Appreciate it. And it's kind of dope because I'm still trying to go on here, man. Just bigger and bigger, whatever, how it goes. But it's like I feel when you say that because, like, man, I grew up listening to 112, and I'm there interviewing Michael Keith and Slim. So
Q Parker, that's my guy. Like I could actually hit Q on the phone, like, yo, like, cause Q you know, and I try not to get into it. It broke my heart, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because like I was one of the reasons of why they got back together. A lot of people don't know that, but I put the idea out there. Like I knew somebody that was mutual to all of them, and I said you need to get them back in the studio. You need to get 112 back together, and they tried it, and it just, you know what I'm saying, it just didn't work. Michael Keith is my guy. Slim's my guy. Q's my guy. Now, am I gonna ever talk to all three of them at the same time? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? But Q is a person that I can actually hit him and be like, yo, I'm thinking about something. I got something on my heart, bro. Uh, what you think about this? You know what I'm saying? Good friend of mine. You know what I mean? I grew up listening to this group in
You said what now?
school. Like I said, I grew up listening to this group in school. Like,
Mhm.
yo, 112 is da da da, Deron, all of them. You know what I'm saying? Like to be able to say, I could just pick up the phone now. It's it's still crazy to me, bro. Like that's how humble I try to keep myself. Like that's still crazy to me. Like, and people just like, how does it feel? And I'm just like, I mean, it's kind of like being in a dream, bro. You know what I'm saying? Some
Yeah,
people's
and
just like,
see,
I'm a be famous. I was never that person. You
yeah,
know what
it's
I'm saying?
always about the dream, you know, and that's the difference. Because I wanted to get into that next too, but you took the words out of my mouth, man. It comes from like always remaining humble and still looking at stuff is so surreal, and people may look at it like Jay Holiday fell off. Jay Holiday, who he one hit wonder, two hit wonder or whatever, but you won. You won already. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? You won already because most of the people that do have the opinion are people that are sitting on the couch just
Yep.
typing away their phone or whatever, and you already done accomplished a dream that most people don't get to see. I mean, yeah, there's an oversaturation of artists now, in the, you know, now because we can have home videos. I mean, home
Right.
studios where we can record our own music and stuff is being put out SoundCloud. There's so many avenues for it now, but it still doesn't mean you're gonna reach the point that you reach. You was Grammy nominated, man. You
Right.
was on tour with R. Kelly, man. You had two number one singles, man. You work
Yeah.
with people. You have these relationships set up now, and at the end of the day, I know y'all had to have tough skin. With now that everybody is able to have a platform for opinion, man. So
Right.
you already won.
But you gotta let it roll off your back, bro. Like it's just I don't know. I just wasn't. I mean, so I put it to you like this. I was never the popular kid, but I was never the not popular kid.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? I didn't hang around the popular people because that just wasn't my thing. I ain't like all the attention and all that. But I knew all the popular people, and then I knew all the nerds. I knew all the people. And like I was always the in between. Like they like, why you over there with the nerds? Because they know some shit. You know what I mean? Like
Word.
I'm learning from them over here. Y'all just want to be cool and buy the tennis shoes and dress cool and like nah. So becoming famous was like I hate the fame, bro. Like that, I didn't get into it for that. Like I'm not even a people's person. I love doing what I do. I love the fans. I love to take pictures. I love to sign autographs. But then there comes that moment when I'm like, oh, I'm so happy I'm back in my room. Like, oh, like Jesus. But you know, that's a catch 22 for me. You know what I'm saying? And I just always promised myself that I was never gonna be the artist that acted like that towards my fans, even if that's how I felt. You know what I'm saying? It's just like get it
Yeah.
out the way, get it done. Um, for some people, that's the only time they're gonna meet somebody famous. You know what I'm saying? So you got to give them that experience. And you want when they tell this story, oh, I met J.Holiday. He was real cool. Da 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 da. You don't want them to be like, man, I met J.Holiday. If I see him again, I'm gonna whoop his. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you don't want them to have that kind of story. You want them to have a good story about you. You know what I mean? So you got to stay humble, bro. Got to.
most definitely. So we fast forward today. I know, you know, you got new music you doing.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know, tell me about the new music.
Man, we got the album time coming. I feel great about the music and great about the new sound. It's not even really a new sound. It's still J. I think every time somebody hear me do something different, they like, but it still sounds like you. So like, I'm happy. I'm just happy about the new music. We just dropped a song called "Ride" off the new album time. As a matter of fact, last night I just recorded a live performance of "Ride" that we're gonna be posting up on my YouTube page, probably in the next couple days or whatever, you know, and then we're gonna shoot the actual official video for Ride. I mean, yeah, man, I'm just happy, man. I just did a movie, Conflicted with West Side Gun and Benny the Butcher, you know, so I'm just out
That's
here, man.
hard.
I'm
That's
out here.
hard.
I'm just moving silently, man. And I've just realized people have to understand, stop chasing it. like don't chase it. You know what I mean? They like chase the bag. Don't chase the bag. Chase your dream. Don't chase the dream. Just do. Just do. You know what I'm saying? Just do it. I didn't even realize who West Side Gun and Benny the Butcher was until I got hip to them with being in a movie. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, oh, these dudes is dope. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
so hard, man.
I was
Them
like,
boys
oh,
are special.
these dudes is coming hard. Like,
They
you know
special.
what I'm
Yes.
saying? So, man, it was a pleasure to be a part of that project, man. And that'll actually be dropping on Amazon Prime. They already did a premiere of it, but it was just a 4-day premiere. Then they took the link down. So it'll be on Amazon Prime next month. Um, yeah, so that's Conflicted, the album Time, single ride. I got another single out with my homeboy Tuesday Night Swim called Lover Boy. I got another single out with my other homie James Worthy called Gold Mine. You know what I mean? So I'm just working, man. Just
Working.
stand in my lane, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because
Just stand in my lane.
like during the quarantine stuff, a lot of people suffered. A lot of people, lost jobs. A lot of people probably not even living no more due to it. And to be able to still have the luxury of still working, still staying active is a blessing, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Definitely a
Yep.
blessing. Man, I
Yeah, man.
appreciate you chopping it up with me. I do have some stuff I want to ask you off recording, man. So
Okay.
stick around to after I hit the, stoppers on this. But I appreciate you checking in with
I
me here
got
at
you.
the living room. And man, anything else you want to put out there to the fans, man?
Man, just love each other, man. It's so many people that lost their life last year and continuing the count still going up, man. Just enjoy life and live. You know what I'm saying? If you got something you want to do it. Cause life is short. Just do it. Try it. You know what I mean? Um, the worst thing you could do is jump out the plane with a parachute, but you always got a parachute if you just try. You know what I'm saying? Like just try
Facts.
and just do your thing, man, and just be kinder to each other, man. You know what I mean? Like so much hate going on in the world. It's just like come on, are we all really that miserable? Like just be nicer to each other, man. That's all I can say, man. Follow me at King J.Holiday.
Yeah, and it's King J.Holiday. Is it IG and what else? What else can people find you on?
Um, and then you can start finding my videos on YouTube/Holiday Music Group. Um, I think somebody's still trying to run a Twitter page for me, but I don't be on Twitter. If you see anything on Twitter, me, it ain't me. Like, you know what I'm
All
saying?
right.
So yeah, just come to my Instagram. I do maintain my Facebook page. And that's just facebook.com/jholiday. Yeah, man, just support me, man, and support good music and support other artists, support by Black owned. You know what I mean? Like, uh, rest in peace to Kobe. You know what I mean? Ain't too much more to say.
Yeah, appreciate that, brother. I'm gonna
Yes, sir.
hit the stoppers on this. But if you had time, I did have some other questions for you.
That's about. Yeah, I got a little bit before I got
I
to do them.
appreciate it.